Yo, what's going on, Sabbath fans? Bill here, Classic Rock and Metal Review. Time to renew the Black Sabbath update just in time for the supposed final show. I don't know about you guys, I'm so stoked about it. I just can't wait to spend an entire day telling my wife, get out of my way. I'm going to be watching, listening to Sabbath all day long. Pre-game, tailgating starts in the morning, my living room. Got invited to an awesome party, but I really just gotta keep it in perspective. Anyway, I gotta stick close to home. I mean, I don't gotta, but I think it's the wiser choice. So let's get right to the beverage of choice. My old slack-tied, what's it called again? Bell Buoy is back in town. All right, now that the weather's hot, this stuff's just perfect. All right, IPA, light and summery. It's fruity. It's a little hoppy. But what I like best about this beer, it is somehow, it swallows, it goes down tasting like an old school, like Michelob or Miller beer. It finishes like a beer from 45 years ago. Or maybe it's 55 years ago in honor of Sabbath. I don't even know. I don't know if I've ever had a 1969 Miller beer. Guys, I'm pumped up, if you can't already tell. So what's coming up in this episode? All the latest news. All right, talk about summer merch that just got announced a few weeks ago. Let's take a quick look at that. That's always fun. New releases. There's a couple that were kind of fun to talk about, but they really got trumped by something that just got announced yesterday. All right, and I'm not just going to go down the track list of this thing, tell you how to get it, tell you that you better get it quick. We're going to dissect the whole track list. I had to do a lot of research to figure out what some of these songs even are, because all we have is titles right now. All right. Get into that. Sabotage 50th anniversary. I just happened to listen to this a few weeks ago, not even thinking about it being the anniversary, so I can weigh in on this, but I play this one again, the ultimate album version. I've done this for Blizzard of Oz and Born Again. I did my own version of Sabotage. However, it's pretty much the regular album. There's no alternate takes and B-sides for this. I just scrambled the order around, but I really dig it, and maybe after 3 years up on the shelf, it's time to open this thing up. What do you think? I know you've all seen it before. I'm sure there's 1,000 unboxings on YouTube, but not on this channel. Not on a channel that knows what they're talking about. 50th of Sabotage talk about. Speaking of bootlegs, got a new one to show you and tell you about. Man, this stuff scrambled all over. I got piles of stuff. Astoria 1999. We'll talk about that. Just my most recent pickup that I got to. Then we shall unbox what I think is pretty much the holy grail of Sabbath bootlegs. And I'm talking all time. 8 CD set, just fresh from Japan. Oh man, I'm going to unbox it for you guys. I haven't listened to it yet, obviously, because I'm just going to pull it out of the box. Right here, right up in your grill. Grab a drink, settle in. This show will not be short, I can tell by all the shit laying around. Man, I love it. Looks like they knocked the ABV down by 1/10 of a percentage point from last year, but it still tastes pretty much the same as it should. Belgian style. Plugging this band brew. Slack-tied Brewing. Okay, they're near me, so they're in all the stores near me. Great beer. All right, easy drinking. Blonde ale. No wonder it's so easy to drink. All right, enough of that bullshit. Let's get into this show. First of all, going back a couple of weeks, I would say we had some fake news out of the Sabbath camp / hype / who the hell cares. Sharon had to toss out there in the public domain that one of the bands she wanted to be on this bill, Back to the Beginning, she just couldn't deal with them and had to toss them off. Just smells like let's try to drum up some press for this thing, because not a whole lot of people other than big Sabbath fans are talking about. I mean, it's Black Sabbath, right? And Ozzy's last show, you almost forget that too. I don't know anyone that knows that except for me, you know, and my friends and stuff, but like nobody in the general public is talking. So let's try to make some press out of nothing where there really is none. But of course that was immediately followed by the announcement of this being on pay-per-view. Backtothebeginning.com. That's where you go to sign up for this. All right. The event this Saturday July the 5th, 2025. Sounds like the stream starts at noon. The show actually starts 10 a.m. U.S. time. I'm not sure what time that is out in England, but anyway, it's going to not start streaming for a couple hours, and that'll be at noon. $30 just for the pay-per-view. There's a package for $65. We get a t-shirt also, and honestly, I'm thinking about that. That t-shirt's kind of cool. I don't know. What else do we got to go on as far as merch? Really, it's just this, I think. Guys, I'm like thrilled about this. I since we didn't hear anything until a few weeks ago, I wasn't thinking they were going to do a pay-per-view and it would just be scraps on YouTube from people there and maybe bootleggers getting a hold of it eventually and putting it out there. But it's just nice that it's going to be live on your TV. I have to figure out how to try to record it. But man, this is a national holiday in my house. I don't know what you guys are doing. I already told my wife, clear the house, because unless you're in the Sabbath, there's 12 hours of Sabbath coming this Saturday. So the only option I had other than that was to travel to an absolutely killer watch party, and I still might do that. It's just so a little bit involved to do that because it's just such a long event, you know. Be gone for 24 hours and hotel and shit would be required. So I'm probably just going to stay home. Also because I want to record it. I got a DVD recorder I haven't used in like 5 or 6 years. I have to see if I can even rig that up to my laptop and stuff like that, or TV. It's a whole thing. So I'm sure we're going to get an official video at some point. It's probably just going to be a condensed 2-hour lame ass version, which I'll probably buy. But I'm hearing it might be a 10 or 12 hour show, so I'm going to try to record every minute of it. So either way, I'm really excited. And by the way, needless to say, it's a sad day too. You know, I mean, this is the end of our favorite band, so I know that's in the background of my mind that that's kind of a little bit of an emotional thing. But I'm just going to try to worry about that the day after and just enjoy the hell out of this event, all right? This band is like family to me, and to a lot of you guys. I know it is. So it is a little sort of, I don't know what you'd say. I guess it's just sad, right? But I can't wait. Best of luck to everyone going, that you have a great time. Best of luck to all the bands there. And I really think we're going to feel the love for Sabbath at this event. I'm not focused on Sabbath and Ozzy's performances at all. To me, that's going to be just some icing on the cake after a long-ass day of other bands that are more capable of playing. And, you know, just anyone going, man, throw a couple of really loud screams for me to the stage. And I'm talking about all day long. Anyone who's ever gone to a show with me knows I'm one of them guys. I scream my head off. Can't talk the next day, the whole bit. But I think we forget some of the best Sabbath things I've seen in the last decade or so have been other bands doing Sabbath. Metallica's Hole in the Sky was awesome. I think we're probably only getting basic bullshit out of the band, and other bands are going to be laying those deep tracks on us, and that's going to be fun. I don't know about you guys, drinking all day, watching other bands do some deep cuts. Hell yeah, I'm up for that. So, like I said, the event starts at noon, I think on the East Coast anyway, for the US, the pay-per-view. It starts earlier if you're there live, all right? That'll be enough of Back to the Beginning for now. I don't have any inside scoop on what bands Sharon was talking about, who's going to play what. Who even cares? I'm watching the whole damn thing. It's like watching, I don't like watching pregame shows, NFL pregame shows, listening to guys talk about what they think's going to happen. What's the point? The game's going to happen in another half hour. I'll watch it and then I'll see for myself what actually happens. So no conjecture here. I don't care. It's Black Sabbath Day in my house. And I should just end this show right now. No. But also some other news going on. Let me just get a sip of this. Black Sabbath Ballet just happened here in stateside. Washington, D.C., some town in Virginia. They each had a handful of shows. I didn't hear shit about them. I couldn't get to them anyway. I just wanted to throw it out there that actually happened because I haven't heard anyone talk about them. I can't even find clips on YouTube. I guess they probably were trying to ban cell phone use anyway. But nevertheless, just wanted to mention that happened. I would have liked to have gone to that. Just not around the corner for me and so forth. But Also coming up, Live Aid, 40th anniversary, right around the corner, you know. The Black Sabbath reunion appearance there, of course. And I am going to renew another episode that I haven't done, and this one goes back a few years. I Was There, where I talk about concert experiences. I think I only got to my first 4. Ozzy and Crew, Priest, Metallica, and then Deep Purple. My 5th concert was Live Aid. However, I wasn't there, all right? I didn't attend this event. But I'll tell you, this Sabbath event coming up this weekend has me reliving that in a way, because I don't think there was no one I knew was as pumped about Live Aid as I was. Watching it, watched every minute, had it on simulcast, videotaped it, but I have a bunch of stuff to tell you about that. We'll go through the whole show and tell you what I remember and on so forth like that. Show you all the stuff I have. I actually have a program and a ticket stub. That'll be cool. I have a couple Sabbath nuggets to give you. A friend of mine's brother was a limo driver, and his buddy, not him, but his buddy drove Sabbath to the show. I'll tell you about that. So yeah, it's 4th-hand knowledge, 3rd-hand knowledge, but I don't think it's bullshit. You know, anyway, I'll throw it out there at you. So, all right, let's get on to summer merch from Sabbath. New stuff unveiled. Some of it was previously available, so I'll just throw my 2 cents in about that. But let's get started with their summer merch. How about these kick-ass flip-flops? How cool, man. I love these. Volume 4 font. I think they're pretty awesome. And why not nab the matching bucket hat? That's kind of cool. I'm not a bucket hat guy, but if I was, why the hell not, you know? Man, these are crazy cool. These all-over swim trunks. Damn, every album cover on them. I love these. I mean, this is like a wow. $60, not too bad. You know, I've seen worse for custom things like this. Kind of dig this Never Say Die Henry shirt. Purple with Japanese text. I think that says Black Sabbath in Japanese. Now, that's pretty cool. Some older stuff now. My wife's been waiting for new living room furniture. I'm not sure that my music and bootleg budget can handle that right at the moment. But why not spruce things up with a few new throw pillows? I just love these, man. I'm sure she'll love them too. First album cover pillows. That's pretty awesome. This Zippo lighter. I might have mentioned this before because it's just damn cool. This is pretty awesome. I think that's $40. Killer though. And finally, guys, I don't know about you. I've been dying to go roller skating. This Volume 4 starter jacket would just be awesome, you know. I'm kind of poking fun at it, but it's actually kind of cool. I'm surprised, by the way, that we haven't seen a complete line of Back to the Beginning merchandise. Really just, I think, that shirt that you get if you order that package for pay-per-view. Unless I'm missing it. I'm surprised we don't have cups, barware, the whole 9 yards, a flag, you know. And in fact, in lieu of not having a Black Sabbath flag, myself, I'm stringing together a bunch of my shirts on a line and hanging them outside of my house on this Saturday. So if I get a picture, I'll show you later. All right. But anyway, that's going to be cool. Making sure everyone that passes by knows what day it is in my Black Sabbath house. All right, new releases. There's a couple of represses to talk about, and then a big gun that just got dropped on us, okay? Commercially, on the commercial market, let's start out with Paranoid album. This would be Rhino. They do these super cut, high fidelity presses. They're from the original master tapes. Unnumbered, limited edition. First press was a few months ago, and it sold out in 12 hours per the Rhino website, and I believe it did. It was sold out really fast. And I haven't checked on it recently. It was still available as of about a week ago. It's $39. If you need yet another 1970 second album, that being the classic album, Paranoid. All right, not exactly new either, but a new 2025 remaster for 1987's Eternal Idol. We got it on Record Store Day on vinyl. That was in ruby red, coming on either black vinyl or on CD. Now, the album, the standard 9 songs, the CD has 9 songs plus 2 bonus tracks. I think they were from the Shining 12-inch single. So now on black wax, which I usually prefer anyway, but that ruby red's pretty cool. And the CD bonus tracks are cool if you want the CD. that'll do it for commercially available stuff, other than something that's coming up. All right, if you find the upcoming final show title, Back to the Beginning, a little stupid in a way, all right, because I'm pretty sure the band wasn't concerned with being physically able to play a couple of songs back in the beginning, for one thing, but somebody gets it, all right, and is filling the void that I think this farewell show is probably leaving us with, and by really taking it back to the beginning and beyond. And it appears that it's former late 60s manager Jim Simpson behind this release. Coming July 25th, in the US anyway, on Big Bear Records, who are based in Birmingham, established in 1968 by former manager Jim Simpson, releasing Earth, the Legendary Lost Tapes, made up entirely of 1969 demos. All right, recorded at Zella Studios, Birmingham, England. I'm pronouncing that right for you, Chris. All right, we've all seen the acetate of When I Came Down, the Zella label on it, floating around, pictures of it on the internet. All right, surprisingly to me, of the 9 tracks we're getting here, neither of them are The Rebel or When I Came Down, all right, which is actually cool because we really got those songs already. So let's dissect the contents of this upcoming CD and album release, and then we'll talk about how to get it and so forth at the end here. First off, Blue Suede Shoes. I know what you're thinking. It's the B Club version from October of '69, Germany. This is not. This is a demo the band did, which does make sense. They didn't just whip that out as a sound check like we've heard. At least I didn't. I mean, it's always possible, but man, they killed that song. It's more likely that they had been rehearsing that song prior to that. Do you think they just pulled that out of the hat? That sounded amazing. Really makes sense that there were something that they knew and they worked on. So, a demo of Blue Suede Shoes to start things off. Song number 2 is called Evening. I really had no clue about this song. From what I looked up online, knowing Jim Simpson's love of jazz, he was a trumpet player. For a hot minute, he was actually a member of the band. Evening is a song by Cab Calloway, jazz great from the, I think he goes back to the late 20s. All right, so this is a song of his. So I guess a worked up cover version of that, although I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I think is probably this song called Evening, an old jazz sort of standard. Don't dismiss this old jazz tune as possibly being pretty awesome done by Sabbath. I mean, we're talking about maybe the best cover band of all time, right? Their version of When I Came Down is awesome. Warning, Blue Suede Shoes is kills. So they could turn anything into their own, I think. So track 3, Wee Wee Baby. All right, another one I'm not really sure what the heck this even is. There could be possibly a cover of Chuck Berry's 1956 R&B B-side, actually, of a single called Wee Wee Hours. I'm not sure again, okay? The Animals also covered that song by Chuck Berry too. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Wee Wee Baby, track 3. Track 4, Untitled. Speculation online is that it's something that the band did officially release later and leaving it quote unquote untitled just to avoid copyright issues, but I'm not sure that would really work. You know, just changing the name of a song if it's the same song, I don't think would get you out of hot water. But we'll talk about that later, the copyright thing. So track number 5, Free Man. Not sure about this one either. I did track down another old jazz tune that's called Free Man's Blues. Could possibly be that one. Especially this sounds like it could be worked into a bluesy Sabbath tune. It's kind of draggy, a little bit of a ragtime, slow blues pace. You know, I could see it working as a vehicle for guitar and or trumpet solo. You know, I mean, you never know what's going on in this era of the band. Man, this is just, I just can't wait for the next couple weeks with Sabbath. I don't know about you guys, but with Jim Simpson having been a member of the band for, I think it was a month or so, it's possible that anything could be going on with these songs. All these jazzy songs might actually have trumpet. Iommi was playing flute at this point, you know, here and there. So, in fact, there is a prominent trumpet solo in this song that I found online called Free Man, all right, or Free Man's Blues, actually. All right, dating to, I think, the 30s or 40s. The version I saw online was on a 78 RPM record. So, all right, so on the side 2 of the vinyl album, or just track 6 if you're on CD. Track 6 and 7, actually. Same song, but this is where things get more familiar. Song for Jim, also known as For Jim, or A Song for Jim, whatever you want to call it. Track 6 is the guitar version of this song. Got a brief clip audio-wise on the Black Sabbath Story Home video back in the early 90s. Then the full song a decade ago or so when Dumfries' 1969 bootleg surfaced. Written by the band for manager Jim Simpson, hence the name. And jazzy, of course, in honor of his sort of love of jazz, So a guitar version for track 6. And then track 7, Song for Jim, flute version, which is what we kind of hear on Dumfries, Tony doing the flute intro and outro. Now, the song's mostly a drum solo, really. So it's basically a drum solo for Jim. But there is the full band involved in the intro of the song and then the outro of the song. No Ozzy on this one, no singing, at least on the Dumfries version, right? Who knows? Who knows what we're getting with this release? I'm pretty excited to hear not one but 2 versions of a song that we've known existed, just haven't ever really heard, other than the Dumfries audience tape. So Dumfries is a really good audience recording. It was recorded on a reel-to-reel recorder, but I think that recorder was at the other end of the room. If I remember right, what I read about this place in Dumfries, what the hell is it? Rugman's Youth Club, that it was a large room that had a stage at either end. So Sabbath was playing at the far end from where the recorder was. So that's why it sounds a little distant. The recorder wasn't in the middle of the venue. It was down towards the other end of the room. So not sure why or whatever, but a single microphone. So studio quality now, I can't wait for this one, man. And then 8th, Wicked World, just wow. We're going to hear an early demo of Wicked World. Wicked World's probably my favorite song on the first album. It really, the whole album's so damn great, but that man, shit. Warning ends things, another holy shit moment seeing that on here. Earlier version of Warning, oh my God. Forget back to the beginning. Get back to this album. How is this release happening legally? Man, I'm not even 100% sure. I'll just tell you what I know. Reading online that if this recording's over 50 years old, the copyright is up. There's no copyright infringement on 50-year-old recordings. And I suspect that Jim Simpson, and I think he was partnered up with Norman Haynes, wasn't he, at some point? I don't know. Manager-wise, maybe not. But he might be, since he's the one in possession of these recordings, and probably fronted the money for them to be done in the first place, might actually be the owner of them. Now, who wrote them and such, that's a whole other thing. Was there a contract in place with the band when he fronted them the money, if that's what happened? I don't even know. There is some question as to whether this is actually Jim Simpson behind this release or not. I would say he pretty much has to be. It's Big Bear Records putting it out. That's his label, all right? But curiously or suspiciously, you go on Big Bear's website, it's not on there. So I'm not really sure 100% what to think. Is he trying to distance himself from it in some way, by not selling it on his site? I don't know, but it comes back to Big Bear Records either way as being the manufacturer of this record and CD. So I don't know how that would help, not selling it on your own website. I don't really know what to think. So this is it's all just a little sort of ambiguous here, isn't it? But the sleeve notes in the record and CD are done by Jim Simpson. So he's putting his stamp on it in that regard. What's curious about all this, though, is the timing of this release. You have this big back to the beginning finale concert coming up this week. Maybe it flies under the radar a little bit doing it then. But also, it gets announced June 30th. It's getting released in the UK July 11th. July 25th in the US. It's a really quick announcement to release date situation, Does sound a little curious, especially running up to that finale concert like I mentioned. So enough of that. Who cares? How do you get it? That's all that matters, right? Getting it in your damn hands. So just go online and search the title. Earth, the Legendary Lost Tapes. There's a bunch of different sellers out there. Man, I was on there hours after this got announced, and some of the distributors are sold out as pre-orders. So just don't waste any time. Get on there and pre-order it. Amazon US, sold out or not available. I did flip over to Amazon UK and they had it. I ordered the vinyl and I ordered the CD. Why did I order both? I don't really need both, but I'm thinking this is going to be pulled back off the shelves. So I'm going to get it as soon as I can before that happens, all right? Also, by ordering it from the UK, you have a better chance of getting it since the release date is right around the corner, July 11th, as opposed to the US. It's 2 weeks later. So more of a chance for Sharon to get her ass in between this release actually happening. So I would go with a UK distributor and I would just order it, pay what you gotta. I think it was $70 Amazon UK, all in with shipping for the CD and the album. Just do it. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about anything else. Just get it in your hands. All right, on to some Sabotage 50th anniversary talk. 1975 album. Here's my original 1980 CD that I've hung on to all this time. Of course, want to get rid of it. Now, I got to admit, it's one of my least favorite Ozzy era albums. I know, probably a pretty unpopular statement. But I've once again improved on this album, just like I did Blizzard of Oz and Born Again. Created another Sabbath-related UAV. What's a UAV? Funny I should ask. My own version, or ultimate album version. All right, basically a playlist, and then I make a CDR of it also. A great album, made greater by yours truly. All right, I got this idea actually from somebody years ago who did his own version of Sabotage. Okay, he ended up chopping up songs and repeating verses and things. He did his own sort of editing that I didn't really care for, but I did borrow one or two ideas from that guy, and we'll talk about that as we go down the list here. So I did, like I said, I did this for Born Again and Blizzard of Oz. By each of those albums, I omitted one song, used B-sides, alternate versions. With Sabotage, that's not an option. We don't have anything like that here. So really, the other thing that I did with those albums, and that's the only thing I could do here, change the running order. 3 of my all-time favorite Sabbath songs are on this album, you know, and they're in my top 10 Sabbath songs, maybe my top 5, to be honest with you. But they're all on side 1. Just like with Blizzard of Oz, spreading out the songs seemed to really help make it a more well-rounded listening experience. Then we'll get into the box set. I'm excited, man. I've had that box set for over 3 years, and I'm finally going to crack it open. And anyway, so let's get in. This is my running order for Sabotage, the one that I listened to the other day. Yeah, it's a playlist in my iPod, and what I do is I make CDRs out of them, throw it in a double CD case, and there it is, all right? Although I did actually change it a little since the one I listened to. I just flipped the last 2 songs. Well, let's get started. So my version of Sabotage opens up with Superstar. Yeah, I stole it right from all their concerts from 76 to 78. You know, having that in the middle of side 2, it's just a momentum breaker. Iommi on guitar and a choir, you know. It's not exactly a Sabbath song. I like the song, but I almost kind of feel like it would be like a Stonehenge, really. A great B-side to another song, you know. Not really a song that's just in the middle of side 2. It's a great opener. I mean, there's a reason the band used it for 2 tours. So that's where I have it. I have it open in the album. Superstar opens my version of Sabotage. Next up, I go right into Symptom of the Universe. Again, just like those 2 tours. And it works good. Listening to Superstar going into Symptom and on those concerts I got. Works great here too. Next up, now here's something I stole from that dude who remade Sabotage. He was pretty extreme. He extended the whole album. I didn't like hearing verses repeated unnecessarily and stuff like that. He chopped Megalomania into 2 different songs. I thought that dude went overboard. I did steal this idea from him. The next song track 3 is Radio, Am I Going Insane Radio. For some odd reason, I don't dig this song, and it's another one that would be buried on what would be side 2 of the album, all right, or it's track 7 on the CD. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me on Sold Our Souls back in the day when that was like my third Sabbath product I ever owned. You know, it doesn't fit. For some reason, after Symptom of the Universe, it kind of seems okay. I don't know why. It just does. I don't love the song, but it doesn't bother me much after Symptom of the Universe. And what that dude pointed out was, here's a single, buried track 7 on the album. It does make more sense to be more towards the front. And that's where I got it, track 3. Now, of course, what happens on the regular album, it flows right into the writ. That diabolical laughing flows into the writ, and that I kept in place here, so I still have radio going into the writ. All right, so there's track 4. Track 5, if you flip your album, it starts with Hole in the Sky. Killer song that works anywhere, basically. It's your side 2 opener. It kicks ass, the Hole in the Sky. Don't Start Too Late, next for me. All right, another one that I think I kept in place, right? Yeah, Hole in the Sky goes into Don't Start Too Late on the regular album. It does it here just on side 2, which goes into Thrill of It All. Now, I know what you're saying. I'm so used to hearing Don't Start Too Late go into Megalomania. Trust me, it works good. Going into Thrill of It All. That acoustic thing, and all of a sudden they got that heavy riff. They just go right together and sounds great. And this album ends with Megalomania, ending with a monster. I mean, just like the way I ended my Blizzard of Oz with Mr. Crowley, you just want to put the album right back on again. You know, that's how it should be. Always leave wanting more. Ending with Megalomania. I was listening to this album driving. When it was over, I wanted to just put it right back on, you know. So I never felt like that before. In fact, a lot of times I listen to Sabotage, I would kind of get, I guess, probably up to Am I Going Insane Radio and be like, you know, kind of like, when is this album going to be over? Because it hasn't been awesome since Megalomania. Although now I am in the Thrill of It All more, and I am into the writ a little more than I used to be. Which I always kind of like those songs, but having those 2 others in between, now that things are spread out, I really do dig Sabotage more. So maybe I'll try to make a playlist of the version I just described. A few years back, just to get blow on a jug, I picked up this NEMS Japanese album replica, all right, off of eBay, you know, and nothing to see. It sounds the same as the Warner version. There's your disc inside there, alrighty, and you do get the Japanese lyric sheet and little write-up kind of thing. Let's see if we get anything else good in there. Just lyrics, all in Japanese on that side. English and Japanese, maybe. No? What? What's going on here? Yeah, they're in both English and Japanese, right? Okay. That's the NEMS CD. Like I said, I just really got it for blow on a jug. In my quest to get every little nook and cranny of Sabbath that existed, sound quality is the same as the Warner CD. I just picked this one up and haven't heard it. The German version of the album, Vertigo album, pressed onto a CDR. Haven't listened to this yet, so at some point, all right, we'll check that guy out. Now, next up, let's open the box set up. Why the hell not? Today's as good a day as any, all right? What am I waiting for? 60th anniversary? The next farewell tour? That could be possible. So the reason I haven't opened that is I do have everything inside of it. Got Live Longest, Die at Last, the Asbury Park concert. This is the second pressing from 2020. I think it says it right on there, 2020 remaster. This originally came out in 2019. I think it's basically the same. I think Collector's Music Reviews preferred the 2019 version. A little thinner sounding here, all right, but sounds great. I'm glad everyone got it in the box set, though. And what else is in this thing? Is there anything else? We got a new version of the album, right? 2021 remaster of the album itself. Of course, you see that I got that. 2 CDs are Asbury Park, and then you got CD4, just the Japanese single of Am I Going Insane Radio, which is a single edit, which I even got that. All right, so there was no reason to open this. Got the Supersonic Years vinyl single collection. All right, so there's already had that also, which I think I transferred digitally, you know, just to get that into my iTunes, complete my rarities collection with Sabbath. But let's pop this open. All right, steak knife it. I'm going to go for a beer. I'm a beer and steak guy. Today, anyway, I'm going to need a refill. First show where I need a second beer. Now you're having fun. All right, I do got a little hole here to start with, so let's just undo that. That'll do. Man, this thing's so old that the shrink wrap's like fraying when I open it up. That's funny. I don't know if I ever saw that before. It's like blasting apart. Save it for the hype, of course. Really need to find something cool to do with these hype stickers, you know, besides chucking them in the boxes. Some kind of display on the wall, something. All right, so the track listing that's on the back comes as a sheet. I know you guys have seen this before, but why the hell not? Which you also get the same exact stuff, at least as far as song descriptions, right on the box itself. But you just get a little blurb in that bottom corner there about how exciting it is when you buy this and get it home, right? All the killer shit inside. So another lift off. One of these days. All right, there's that. Got the little ribbon pull. All right, and this is great, man. I really wish they would have kept doing this. It's a shame they chinched out on those Martin ears, because the book comes as a hardbound book, and that's just really something nice to just behold, you know, if nothing else. Real deal. There's already some built-in scuffs on the brand new product. You gotta love that. And same on the back cover too, in the same places. But the cool book. Look at that opening. That's just great. Henry all over. Wonder it's same in the back too. That's kind of cool. So I'm sure it's a good read and all that stuff. So Black Sabbath. Their new album, Sabotage. All right. Wow, this is kind of cool. Underneath that booklet. Now, what the hell is this? Another booklet? Another booklet. It's been so long, I have no idea what I'm even about to say. Howard Stein presents Black Sabbath at Madison Square Garden. Nice write-up coming at you. Pictures, of course. Knights of the Round Table. Knights of the Metal Table. Ozzy and Tony. There's a cool quattro there, right? All right, so is this like a, is this the Sabotage tour book? That's kind of what it looks like, right? And yeah, possibly, I guess so. That's the only album pictured there. That's pretty cool, little program replica. And what do we got here? A poster? Damn, this is cool. Man, this is a reason to open it up. This thing's getting creased the hell out. That's pretty sweet. Nothing major, but I don't know. It's just pretty cool. I'm going to frame this and put it on my front door this Saturday. What do you guys think? British tour. That's cool. I like this poster, man. Love it when it's in your face like that. Yes. All right. It's a reason to open that, man, just to get that poster unfolded and up on a frame. And the CDs themselves. All right, Sabotage once again, the album. North American Tour, Live 75, Part 1. It's called the North American Tour, but it's just Asbury Park as far as I know. They did pull a fast one, I think, with the Volume 4, right? Having that, having Live at Last be couple of other songs. I don't think that's the case with this. I think this is all Asbury. Damn, that's cool. Very cool, man. Loving it. And then the CD single. Exactly like the vinyl on the front. Let's see about the back. Yup. It's exact replicas. Here's my replica of the original, of course. Not the real deal. All right, so there you go, man. There's Sabotage 50th anniversary. And what do you know? I'm into it as much as ever, but I have to admit I did tweak the running order and kind of really dig that. All right, on to some bootleg talk. My latest pickup, Astoria, 1999. Talking Shades, the label, and this would be title number 855 on their catalog, and it's one CDR, one DVD-R, and it's actually a DVD-R first and a CD second. Slowly approaching owning every Sabbath soundboard. So a couple more to go from the Martin era, and I think I'm there. So let's start out with disc 2, all right? Excellent official release quality soundboard sound on that concert, all right? You can also hear the crowd really well, which is not the usual with these soundboards. They're usually distant. Not in this case. Sounds really good. We're at the Astoria in London, December 5th, 1999. So reunion tour. I would say Ozzy and Tony sound really good on this, as does Geezer, but the bass does sound kind of, it's clear, but it's kind of thin sounding, kind of pingy, not as beefy as usual. Drums, they sound okay sonically, pretty good, but Bill's playing, I have to admit, on this one, nothing to write home, much to write home about on this one, just being honest. But who cares? He's here, and he's playing as good enough, all right? Unfortunately, only half of the show is on the CD. And in fact, the material just happens to be from the first 2 albums only. 8 songs and 50 minutes on the CD. Very good show, and really sounds like a good listen. I have to tell you, listening to it, pretty cool. Band intros, midway through. Bill gets 4 intros by Ozzy. I don't remember all these intros by Ozzy until seeing that King of Terror video, actually. And there's also the crowd singing along to "Oh, Bill Ward, Bill Ward." That's pretty awesome. Then they do it with Tony, Tony. Pretty cool. I don't remember that. All right. Wouldn't have seen that in the U.S. anyway. But a happy addition to the collection as far as the CD goes, even though it's only about a half a show. Now the DVD, it's audience shot. Same exact show, complete show. Shot from stage right, first row of the balcony. This place, obviously a pretty small place. It's close. And overall, very, very good and steady. So no complaints about the quality of the picture and so forth. The sound is pretty similarly, I would say, very good. And more than acceptable and watchable. Now, what jumps out at me as far as the set list, Tomorrow's Dream, which I was only made aware of in the last week or so, watching Chris Allo talk about this tour. And I never knew that Tomorrow's Dream was part of this tour in any of the cities at all. But apparently it got played in a handful, this being one. So that was a real reason to grab this show. So 4:3 aspect ratio, as you can imagine, being filmed in 1999 by a handheld camera. You have nice soundboard sound on the CD. Now, as far as the DVD goes as a watch, it does leave something to be desired. It is a little unfulfilling. For one thing, I think the stage is being kind of small. There's not a lot of room for these guys to maneuver, and that being Ozzy, he really just stands at the microphone the whole show. And not even a lot of walking around, no running around at all. Now, in 99, he was still kind of hopping all over the place and chucking those buckets of water. I think he does one of those the whole show. And it's kind of handed to him, and he throws it straight out, and it's over with in 20 seconds. It's not the same exciting show I was used to seeing from my memory and from that Pittsburgh 99. So it's really not a great watch, I have to tell you. The other part of that being, this cameraman is zoomed in on Ozzy a good 90% of this show. So it's really an Ozzy show, and Ozzy's not his best, I would say. All right, so I'm still happy to get this, but more so for the CD than the DVD. So quality-wise, it's really good, but the performance-wise comes across better as a listening experience than a watching experience. Okay, that'll do it for Astoria 99. But I just thought I would talk about this quickly because I watched it the last day or two. And it's been a good 6 or 7 years. Gathered in Our Masses from 2013. Man, what a great tour. I saw 2 shows on this tour, and I really loved it. I really thought it was great. So what are the problems with this one? Because I thought this was kind of boring too, to be honest with you. I remembered it being a more exciting show, for one thing. Number 2, you don't have any of the Volume 4 songs on this video. And number 3, the songs from 13. Loner's just okay. It's nothing great. Methodemic's decent, but it's nothing great. And I would say the overall energy of the concert picks up at Iron Man, which I'm not in love with that song anymore or anything, but at least the crowd really makes it an exciting watch at that point. But then the next song after Iron Man's End of the Beginning, it sounds amazing. They cut it after, they do one verse instead of two. So it's just chopped, and that's lame. It really just is. Now, you know, Children of the Grave's pretty cool. God is Dead is great. They do play the whole God is Dead. Why they decided to chop one 8-minute song up and not the other, I don't know. But at least we get all of that. That's great on here. And then it's pretty much over at that point. So just thought I would throw my 2 cents in with that video. I never loved it. And now I can kind of remember why, checking that one out. But, guys, I saved the best for your asses. All right? Get ready. Prepare to feast your eyes and asses, all right, on this one. Dare I say, the ultimate Black Sabbath bootleg. Let's open it up, shall we? Get ourselves a good long look, and then we'll dissect the contents, or at least talk about them, since I haven't heard it yet, obviously. Wow, a 2-beer show. All right, so I already broke the tape. Let's get that over with at least, right? If you guys pay attention to the boot market, I'm sure you know what's coming. I don't use words like ultimate, best, feast your assholes, terminology like that, unless I got something nice to show you guys, and I sure the hell do. Empress Valley's 8 CD plus 1 bonus CD box set, Black Sabbath, Friday the 13th. How killer is this, man? Again, I've been getting into audience stuff lately a little bit. Having collected nearly everything soundboard from Sabbath, so this is kind of a perfect blend. Can't think of a better way to jump in or back in to some audience stuff, because I do own some of this stuff from a crazy one-off bootleg I nabbed years ago called Stoned Out Confusion. Is that what it's called? Burned Out Confusion. 4 CDs. Has a couple of the shows I'm about to show you. But first, let's start out by just unwrapping this masterpiece. I mean, feast your eyes on that. Nice Obi strip. That's killer. Looks like we get, it's like a bonus sticker in there. I wasn't sure if that was part of the cover. Bonus sticker, and I'm seeing some reflective glare there. Little rainbow ribbons. That's pretty cool. Empress Valley. Just basically says Empress Valley on it. You know, nothing to do with this release per se. Friday the 13th. How cool is that? And on the back, this one does look, yeah, it's another separate card. Instead of a numbered sticker, it's a numbered card. That's pretty cool. What is our number? 76. Limited edition, I think that says. And 1100? No, out of 100. 76 out of 100 is what that reads down there. Kind of tough to make out. In the thatch, you know? That's so awesome. Let's open this thing up and get a better look. Right now. All right, that sticker's gonna drop. Let's place that there. Get rid of that cellophane thingy. Here's that little sticker that came with it in the corner. All right, I was telling you, it's got like a shimmer to it. That's kind of cool. It doesn't say anything about this release though. It looks like it's just a Empress Valley sticker. And then on the back, I showed you that numbered card. There it is. All right, with the 76 on it. So it's pretty cool. Friday the 13th. Awesome. So behind that, just more back album photo. All right. Oh, that looks cool. Got our liftoff box. Killer. Let's lift that front cover off. Check out what we got there. Actually, here, hold up a second. Let me just take the Obi off. See what we look like in total there. That's cool. What's that say? Live Anthology, 1970 to 1971. Decent. Love it. Obi, you go there. Let's see. All right, so what do we got for contents? First of all, bonus disc. And this is kind of cool in a way, even though I've got 20 versions of this album. It's Paranoid. Comes with an Obi, but it looks like that Obi is right on the cover. It's not a paper lift-off deal. Okay? Not sure why they even bother with that. What's the point? But D-mix, so a deconstructed mix. So basically using AI and what have you to separate the tracks and remix the album. So this will be my first of those. So that's kind of cool. Even though it's an album I've got a dozen copies of or what have you. So it's the Paranoid D-mix mastering. Plus you do get Evil Woman and Wicked World from the 45 mono Fontana promo single. So that's cool. So a couple bonus tracks. I guess they're D-mix too. They don't say D-mix next to them, but we'll just assume they are, being in this bonus disc. All right, that's kind of cool. What's the Philips insignia for down there? I guess that's the hardware they use to D-mix it. That's kind of cool. All right, so inside the main box, trying to get the light right for you. That's pretty cool. I love that eerie version of the front cover. So, got 2 packages in here. Get to the second one next, and we'll start talking content. Yet another real Obi inside there. And what we're getting with this one, CD1 live in Los Angeles, February 23rd of 70, I think that says. And we got live in Long Beach, September 25th, 71. CD3, BBC Sessions. So you're getting Fairies Wear Boots, John Peel Talk, Behind the Wall of Sleep, more Peel Talk. See, I never heard the Peel Talk stuff. That's going to be amazing. Walpurgis, which is War Pigs, right? Interview with Iommi, and then Black Sabbath, the song. Man, that's going to be fun. Getting some additives in there. All right, that's BBC Session Disc 3. And then Beat Club is also part of that disc, and those 4 standard songs we're used to on that one. CD4 is actually a soundboard, live in Montreux, which I've got multiple copies of. All right, so hey, one more. All right, so it's not all completely rare stuff and not all audience stuff, so there you go. There's 4 of the discs. Let's pop out last batch, second batch. Okay, this one will be more in the regular color of the album as opposed to that whitewash that this one was, whatever you want to call that coloring that they did. That looks so cool. This one a little more standardized, but again, a lift-off Obi inside this package. Contents for this one. Live in Berlin. Now this is a show I have already also. June 20, is that 5th or 6th of 70. Live in Portland. Here's a show that's going to be new to me, as is that Long Beach. And I think Los Angeles might be in this Burned Out Confusion set that I got. This was 4 shows also. So, but what will be new is Portland for sure. Disc 3, Fillmore West. I used to have this decades ago. A buddy of mine had it, and I taped it off him. So this will be my first time owning it. This is from November of 70. And then Live in Copenhagen. That'll be new to me also. 4 new shows for my ass. November of 70 with that one also. Oh man, look at the side font. That looks killer. Friday the 13th. And the other one I guess is in blue. It is. Let's just plop them together. Trying to get the glare out of your eyes. Mine as well. Let's open one. Gotta open one. Let's open the first one. Show you what the discs look like. Although they're usually just going to be, if you know your Empress, it's just going to be discs in a anti-static sleeve. Oh, it's actually, these are bifolds. So let's try to figure this thing out of here without tearing this cellophane up. Man, it's in there so tight. Why do they do this? Oh no. All right, there we go. No big deal. Fold it out. Got the rest of the Obi and the wide shot of the Manor. All right, that's pretty cool. So we'll just take one disc out. We'll assume the other one is, wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. The old, what the hell is it? Oh, come on, I'm drawing a blank. The old Vertigo swirl. There you go. And I like that neon green. That's cool. Does it say the show? Yeah, Live in Long Beach right on it. Yeah, one of those shows is new to me. Long Beach. I think I have LA, which is also known as Hollywood. All right, but Long Beach will be new to me. Let's see. All right, so they're all going to be in green, live in Los Angeles. That's pretty cool. That neon green looks cool with that black and silver swirl behind it. All right, guys. Got myself some listening to do. That's about long enough of a video for you anyway, right? That's all you can handle. Everyone have a great time watching back to the beginning. Seriously. I mean, man, I'm like sad and happy at the same time because these guys got to end it at some point. You know, that's the thing. So I'll catch you all later. Guys, I'm going to be doing a whole show based on Live Aid. Of course, Sabbath was a big part of that. And I have a little inside story to tell you about it too. So tune back in for that. I call that episode I Was There. This will be for Live Aid 1985. I wasn't actually there. I was there in spirit, and my whole house got overrun by my stereo TV, VCR, lots of stuff to talk about with that. So stay tuned for that one coming up pretty soon. All right, guys, that'll do it for now. Cheers with my empty beer. Catch us all later. Everyone enjoy the best band ever's final show. Peace out. Catch you later.